Boys and girls. Hey, boys and girls. This is Miss Brown back with another video for helping you with expressions. We have this worksheet is saying writing statements and expressions. So we're going to translate the expressions into statements, and we're going to translate the statements into expressions. So this is an expression, so I'm going to have to translate that into words to a statement. So it's 3 plus 6 plus 2 times 4. So that's basically telling me I have to do both of these things first, the two things in parentheses first. Then after I do those, I have to add them together. So I can write that as 3, or I can write the sum of 6 added to the product of 2. Whoa, what happened? Of 2 and what happened? I have no idea what just happened. 2 and 4. So that's how I could write that. This is one way you can write it. There's several ways you can write it, but this is the correct way. One of the correct ways. The sum of 3 and 6, because I'm getting the sum of 3 and 6, and I'm adding that to, that's why they have the plus in the middle, adding that to the product of 2 and 4. I'm going to have to get the product of 2 and 4. So I would have to multiply 2 times 4. And then once I get both of those things, the sum of this and the product of this, then I would add those together. So that's why I have to write it as the sum of 3 and 6 added to the product of 2 and 4. Okay, next one. I hope this is still recording. It looks like it is. Okay. This says 18 minus 2 plus 2 times 5. So that I can say, I'm just going to write it at the beginning. So it's not going to be in the box. So I'm going to say the difference of 18 and 2 plus, or I could say add it 2 again if I wanted to, plus the product sorry, I was not writing good. The product of 2 and 5. So the difference of 18 and 2 plus the product of 2 and 5. So that's one way to write it. I could do it something different. I could say 2 less than 18 added to the product of 2 times 5 or something like that. I mean, there's different ways you could write it, but this is definitely one way. Right, number 3, 120 divided by plus 3 times 6. So 120 divided by 3 plus 3 times 6. So I could write the quotient, because quotient means I'm dividing. The quotient is my answer I get to a division problem. So the quotient of 120 and 3 added to the product of 3 times 6. That could be my statement to match that. The quotient of 120 and 3 added to the product of 3 times 6. So that would tell me that I have to do this first and do this next. And then once I get the answers to both of these, I will have to add those together. And that's that. Next one is 6 divided by 3 times 4 times 2. So I could do, I could do the product, hold on. I would do 6 divided by 6 divided by the, well, no. Yeah, I could. 6 divided by, I would have to do 4 times 2 first because it's in parentheses. Then I would have to do 6 divided by 3. So I would do the quotient of 6 and 3 times the product of 4 and 2. So the quotient of 6 and 3 times the product of 4 and 2. So I can get the product of 4 and 2. Then I could do the quotient of 6 and get the quotient of 6 and 3 and then multiply that by the product of 4 and 2. So that would work for that. Or you can put the quotient of 6 and 3 times the product of double 4. I mean, anything like that would work. So let's go to the next section. In the next section, we're going to be turning the expressions and the statements into expressions. So we're going to turn the words into expressions. So the first one says subtract 8 from the sum. I'm going to subtract 8 from the 12. Subtract 8 from the 12, then multiply by the sum of 2 and 4. So subtract 8 from the 12. So that's going to be 12 minus 8 because I'm taking 8 from 12. So there's 12 minus 8. Then I'll multiply that by 2 times 4. So the sum of 12 and 8 needs to go in parentheses. I'm sorry, the difference, there's the difference I'm subtracting. So that goes in parentheses and that goes in parentheses. Because it says subtract 8 from the 12, subtract 8 from 12, then multiply by the sum of 2 and 4. So I'm not doing 2 times 4 right here. That's 2 plus 4. See why I have to go back and read it. So it says subtract 8 from the 12. So that's 12 minus 8. Then multiply that by the sum of 2 and 4. So it's 2 and 4. I knew they were together, but I put multiplication at first instead of adding. I had to go back and read it. By the sum of 2 and 4. That's why you have to slow down, take your time, and make sure you're doing it right and not making mistakes. All right, now let's look at the next one. It says the sum of 12 and 6 minus the product of 2 and 3. So the sum of 12 and 6 is going to be 12 plus 6, the sum of 12 and 6, minus the product of 2 and 3. So this time it's product of 2 and 3. So these have to go in parentheses. So I do the sum of 12 and 6. Then I get the product of 2 and 3. Then I would subtract this one from this. I'm not actually solving them in this video, but this is all you have to do is just write it out. The next one is the quotient of 15 divided by 3 increased by the sum of 2 and 6. So the quotient of 15 divided by 3, that would be 15 divided by 3. And then I'm going to increase that by, so I'm going to add the sum of 2 and 6 to that. So this is what it would look like. You would have to do, you're getting the quotient of 15 divided by 3. So you have to do 15 divided by 3. And then you're going to increase that by the sum of 2 and 6. So once you do the sum of 2 and 6, then you would add those two together to solve. That's how you would have to do. So you have to put those two things in parentheses first. And then the last one says 3 times the sum of 5 and 2 divided by the sum of 2 and 1. So 3 times the sum of 5 and 2 divided by the sum of 2 and 1. I'm going to go back and read this to make sure I have it right because there was a lot going on. All right, it said 3 times the sum of 5 and 2 divided by the sum of 2 and 1. So, yeah, 3 times this. First, I have to do this, get the sum of 5 and 2. Then I would have to get the sum of 2 and 1. Then I would multiply 3 times this sum. And then I would divide that by this sum. So that sounds like a lot. So let me do it just so you can see. Okay, I'm going to rewrite it up here. So 3 times 5 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1. So let's see. I'm going to read it one more time to make sure. 3 times the sum of 5 and 2. So 3 times 5 plus 2 divided by, I'm dividing that by 2 plus 1. Divide, I have to divide all of this by 2. Also, I need to do this first. All of this needs to be done first. Okay, so that's going to make a difference, I think. Let me just do that. Putting this in brackets, so that means I have to do all of this first. So if I do 5 plus 1, it gives me 6. Then I did 3 times 6 to get 18. Then, it's supposed to be a division sign. Then I would divide that by 2 plus the sum of 2 plus 1. So the sum of 2 plus 1 is going to give me 3. So I do 18 divided by 3 to get 6. Okay, so let me see. If I hadn't put the brackets, I would have did this first. Then I would have did this. That would have got me 3. Then I would have did 3 times 6. It would have got me 18. And 18 divided by 3. Okay, so it still would have got me the same thing. But I put the brackets to let me know that I do need to do all of this first. So go ahead and put the brackets in that. And that is it for that worksheet. I hope go back and watch it if you need to. Bye.